All you do in your DAW, whatever DAW.
A big part of our mission is to create a space in which
Yes, we are.
Yes.
My friends, welcome to Modular World. You know, every show like this feels like Christmas morning. You know, I'm just like, I can't wait to start the show. I can't wait to open the gifts. I've been like shaking the boxes. I'm listening to it. I love this show. Thank you so much for tuning in. All these people in the chat, dear friends. And I do see a bunch of new names. I see French being spoken in the chat. Montreal is in the house. All right, you're watching Modular World. My name is John O'Wells, and this is the Montreal Spotlight Show. Oh my God. And this is show number 20. Show number 20. Now, we've had a couple of other shows that actually would make this like 23 or something. We did the Snakes of Russia Spotlight. We did the Techno Show. But the standard performance show, this is number 20. Amazing. A few words on the opening music, which you listened to. We were listening to Sync Volume 1, which is a compilation from the Colorado Modular Synth Society, CMSS. And this was an interesting live stream show that is linked below. Clocks, CV, MIDI, and audio crisscrossing to build a beautiful deep listening experience. This was a collaboration with the Aphonic, Mark Mosier, Mike Eslick, Osk Ills, Band Reject, Monoscene, and Sign Mountain, of course, who runs CMSS. They performed as pairs. So 4 pairs of artists synced up their modular synths, groove boxes, music apps, and more for unique tandem live performances. We were just hearing the one with the Aphonic and with Mark Mosier, pillars of the Colorado scene. Again, links below to the whole show, all artists, their Instagram channels, their Bandcamp, YouTube channels. It's all below. Please follow and support the artists on this show. This is a really special show, and it's similar to the Indonesian Spotlight. I work with a local artist who I know who's played on the show, and we produced this show. This show was produced with Tangled Waves. You've seen them on the show. You've seen them on the anniversary show. Katrin, Tinn, and Olivier Marteaux. See, I knew I'd screw your name up, man. I'm so sorry. They are going to come in here and say hi in a minute. We have a very special treat from Katrin. Made us a very special gift. And I got to say, before I bring them in, that, Olivier totally curated this show. Like, emails, tracking down people. Who wants to play? Who do you like? How's this? How's that? Like, just such love curating this show. I'm really just kind of the VJ. I'm like pushing the buttons, but this show was created by Tangled Waves. Let that be very clear. Okay. Let's bring them in, my dear friends. Okay. My friends, this is Katrin Tinn, half of Tangled Waves. Unmute yourself, my sister.
Hello.
There she is.
Hello,
there
Juno.
she is. And your other half, Olivier Marteaux, is here.
That's perfect. Bonjour, John O'Wells. Hello,
There he is.
Modular World.
Bonjour, bonjour. These two are so great. And you've probably seen them on the show. She does the digital art over his modular music. What a unique duo. I love you guys so much. So tell us a little bit about the scene in Montreal, and then we're gonna play this special short which you made.
Yeah, sure. So as you recall, Jono, we've been immensely privileged to be already twice on Modular World, and we felt it was a bit unfair because there are so many talented synthesists and artists here in Montreal that we have seen, that have always around us, that we felt, they needed to be also represented. So when you came with this genius idea and say, hey guys, want to do something around the Montreal modular scene, we just jump to the ceiling and you say, yes, exactly, I know the guys. So that was the idea. Because you see, Montreal, we found when we arrived here 2 years ago, that it already had a long-standing tradition, a long-standing connection with modular synthesis. Mm-hmm. First of all, there are two renowned modules manufacturers here. Have you ever heard of Ex-Inverter Electronic or Kilpatrick Audio? They're in Montreal based. It has also some famous spots where you can buy modulars, such as Moog Audio. I think it rings a bell. And there is a little comer called Technosynth Instruments. So, okay, we have all the gears. We have associations. We have centers that offer workshops to learn modular. Hello, Oboro. You've got also venues when we can have weekly open mics. Well, we used to have weekly open mics before the pandemic. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking of Modular Mondays and Eastern Bloc, so great place. We also have universities where you can study for your doctoral studies, modular synthesis, and electroacoustics.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. And a so devoted and happy community we've been lucky to be among and play a lot recently. And I guess you'll see a few faces of them very shortly.
So you were telling me about the great scene there, and you're like, man, there's so many shows. We're playing so many cool shows. And then you volunteered your dear wife to make us a short film about what it looks like there. Katrin, would you introduce this wonderful short film that you've made for us to intro our show with?
Yeah, of course, sure. It was a great pleasure to cooperate with you on this show. And we thought that, everybody must see what a beautiful and vibrant city Montreal is. It has beautiful architecture, parks, markets, but also, as Olivier said, there's several really cool modular events which can happen in big venues or in small parks and so on. So overall, you should think of this movie as a little compressed journey. So, of course, I try to have a narrative here. It happens all in the same day, from pretty much lunchtime to lunchtime, but it's filmed over a longer period, of course. And I had great help also by additional footage by Evan Simard, as well as by Patrick McMaster that you will see in this video. And of course, you will see several people playing today, some that you have seen before, and some that hopefully you will see one day. So I hope that you will enjoy the ride and the following show.
Beautiful. We conceived this show months ago, and you guys were shooting for this little short for a couple months.
Yeah, over the pretty much since we discussed.
The summer, yeah.
Yeah.
So you shot and edited this, and Olivier did the soundtrack. Here we go. This is so nice. This is called A Modular Journey. This is a little snapshot into the Montreal modular scene. Here we go. See, when I say modular world, this is what I'm talking about. You know, Katrin, thank you so much for building that and shooting that and editing that. Really special. Really special. And Olivier, what wonderful soundtrack you guys. I mean, what a great way to start the show. Like every spotlight show, which I want to do something like this. I want to beg the people helping me make it to make a nice little intro short like this. I want to see the cities where this happens. This is great. Great. All right, let's start this show. For those of you who have just tuned in, my name is John O'Wells. You're watching Modular World. This is the Montreal Spotlight Show, spotlighting the vibrant, amazing scene going on in Montreal. I'm being joined by Tangled Waves, Katrin Tinn, and Olivier Marteaux, who helped me curate this show and have given a lot of their time to create the short film, which you just saw, and helped me choose all these artists. And yeah, it's been great. All right. You guys want to set up Sidney, and let's start this going.
Excellent. Yes. So our first artist today is Sidney Cote Nadon. My friend Sidney is a composer in all senses of the term. He started electronic music at the age of 8, but he bought his first synth only 7 years ago. Can you imagine, right? He remembers it was a Roland System 1, and he thinks that this is what led him into the world of modular. You know, he then bought the usual modules, radio music, clouds, and then voila, he was in. His style as a composer is influenced by electronic artists such as Gary Newman, Trent Reznor, The Presets, Peter Gabriel, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Depeche Mode, and A Little Bird Told Me, Joy Division.
Yeah, so good. So good.
He's also very much into video games music composition. He's currently working on an EDM and techno project called Pugilist, which is a French term for people who fight with their hands. So I think it's a subtle hint to the fact that he's also a Mortal Kombat adept. And now the performance you're about to see is what I would call, personally, a marriage made in heaven between modular synths and the piano, grand piano. So I will let you judge.
All right, here we go. Sidney, thank you so much.
You're welcome, man.
What a great way to start the show. Oh, man. Yeah. So Inky DeCat is saying goosebumps. Yeah, that was serious goosebumps, man.
Sure.
And I mean, it shows just, you know, this is composition, right? I mean, wow.
Yeah, I tried to compose parts of it, but left it as free as possible to just have fun with this whole setup.
So, I mean, where is this setup? This enormous piano, like this whole setup?
It's right next to me in the other room.
Yeah. What a lucky guy. So, would you tell me about that cool 16 fader bank filter move which you're doing there, like at the end? That's so nice.
Yeah. Actually, what I did is I tried to split. I tried to make sure that I have control over high pass and low pass filter for the drums separately, for the bass separately, and for pretty much like all the other stuff, just to give me that quick and easy, like a DJ, like control setup.
Yeah.
To ease like transitions and yeah. I wanted to have a setup that is super fun to perform on. So yeah, I think it worked pretty well.
So you and I have talked about your key step. I'm a new convert to the key step pro world. You're killing it with that thing.
Yeah, this is pretty much the it's not the first set on which I used it, but it's the first set on which I had to learn that many different functions in order to perform. But yeah, that thing is it's a beast. I mean, like it's
super
not
powerful,
super expensive, and it gives you tons of controls.
Yeah. One thing which I wanted to do right away when I got it was to not use all the CV coming out the back, but just use it with MIDI, because there's 2 MIDI outs, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I
use both.
Yeah. So I have 1 MIDI out going to my disting through my IntelliGel case, and then the other MIDI out I'm taking to Mutant Brain from your local
yes
friend Hex Inverter, Stacy, and yeah, so it's like
sold me that case actually.
Sorry?
Stacy sold me that case. It's his old modular case behind me.
The thing's amazing. So I'm using like no CV coming out the back of it, and all doing it via MIDI. So I have no big cable bundle coming from the back of the key step, thanks to the Mutant Brain.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to reach all these right. The CV controls.
Yeah.
I'd love to build a breakout box and just like put it on the side of it.
Well, the breakout box is the Mutant Brain.
Yeah, well, in your case, yeah.
There you go. Katrin and Olivier, jump in anytime if you want to ask some questions or talk with Sidney, your friend Sidney.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I don't want to like monopolize all the questions.
I just wanted to say that some of the images you saw in Kat's short video, it was a famous modular barbecue party at Sid's, actually. So,
it was a lot of fun.
So that was this summer.
Yes, before the park. Yeah.
That's sweet. So is this a regular occurrence, Sidney?
No, it was the first time we did something like that, but it was a lot of fun. There was it was supposed to be outside. However, we got caught by the rain, so everybody ended up in the kitchen with the pots and pans.
Sweet.
We had a blast, though.
Yeah, it's kind of those little unexpected things that end up kind of bonding everybody in a different. Yeah, that's good.
An epic jam.
Yeah. Can you tell us about how you build out a set like this and what you're trying to do, getting all these sounds in with the piano and the sequencing with the key step and etc.?
Yeah, sure. What happened is I wanted to do a very contemplative and like experimental set and work more on the sonic aspect of it, like process the piano in real time and do some stuff like that. But then um, Olivier told me, "Hey Sid, I'd love it if you could do something more upbeat because it would give a good like contrast with all the different stuff we'll have." So that didn't really work according to my original plan. The thing is that I hadn't done anything yet since, even though I had like 3 months to prepare. So I was on the first like 1 or 2 weeks before today. So I decided to just set up something that will be easy to manipulate and that would be fun to work with. So that's the reason why I use, for instance, the 16N to give me like quick access to like filters. But also what I did is I prepared a lot of different loops on the 1010 bitbox, and I did also some live looping. At the start of the video, you can see I start playing something piano, on the piano, then I just stop, and then it kind of starts looping. So what I did is I only prepared a few chords I wanted to use and a bass line, and then start working around that. And I wanted to have like a second, like a drop, and then a second part where it's like even more intense. Even though like this old set is pretty, like relaxed and chill, but I think it's got like a fun dancey vibe to it.
Definitely,
I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And you're live looping into the 1010?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I just wanted to interject. That we met Sid in a Modular Synth Quebec meetup in a cafe for a live performance, and his set was so powerful, so punchy that I wanted everybody to see this. So I know he wanted to do very soft piano, feelings, emotions, but I said I want the punch too, man. So please.
Yeah, and you totally managed to. So it's both like really beautiful and like the punch that we want from you.
Yeah. It had everything.
Awesome.
Right. You guys are great, man. See, the artist and like what he can. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Well, Sidney, my friend, let me see if I can learn how to highlight. I think I can spotlight. Yes. Perfect. I know how to do it. Thanks so much for coming and doing this, man.
My pleasure, man.
I really appreciate you coming on the show. Yeah. And I'm just glad to meet you, and I look forward to when I can get up there and we can hang out and do this in person, man.
Yeah, of course. Hope we can do that, man.
All right. Off you go. Thanks so much. My friends, Sidney, Cote, Nadon. There he goes. All right. How do I spotlight back? Give me a sec, my friends. Give me a sec. All right. All right. We're back with Olivier. Katrin, just say a couple words and let me see if it takes over the spotlight.
Yeah, hello?
No, it doesn't. Oh, remove spotlight. There we go. It's just buttons. Jono, just click the buttons. I got it. I'm good. All right. We're going to move on. I'm going to introduce Rudy. All right, here we go. Next up is Rudy Toussaint. As a second grader, Rudy was introduced to Switched on Bach and was instantly infected by the electronic music bug. Man, I had the same experience. That was one of the first things I heard. Electronic, synthesizer stuff, and man. His first synth was an ARP Odyssey and then moved on to the semi-modular ARP 2600. In 2009, the impulse of tweaking knobs caught up with him and he bought the basic A100 Doepfer system. Since then, Your Rat grew. He got a Buchla 200E and also got into 5U. He studied composition at the, okay, help me how to say this right, Olivier. The Conservatory of Music in Quebec, but you would say it as?
Conservatoire de Musique du Québec.
That's why I've got you saying it. See, it sounds so much better, right? He studied composition there, and then he went on tour as a sonic landscaper with Carbon 14, a multimedia theater group from 87 to 1991 around the whole world. He's composed for TV and film since 1997 with Dasmo Musique. And this just blew my mind. Are you ready? His most famous piece is the theme for How It's Made on the Discovery Channel. Have you guys heard that? I watched that show so many times with my daughters. He's the guy who made the theme. He's on Twitch every night, composing and noodling under the name Rudy T. Are you ready? Here we go. Here is Rudy Toussaint. Rudy Toussaint, I just thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I don't know where to start. Like we've got the lira, we've got the buchla.
Actually,
or that's
the
pulsar.
The pulsar.
Right,
yes.
Sorry. We've got the prepared guitar. Got this amazing performance, this lighting shot on a 360 camera.
Yep.
This is a piece of work here.
Oh, thanks.
Well, thanks. This is amazing. God.
I'm having fun here.
So, tell us about this kind of setup and this kind of performance. Like this took a lot of work.
Well, the biggest part of the work was to empty this room and only keep the buchla and the guitar and the pulsar, because this room is like a dump of synthesizer right now. And so I invaded the house with my gear. And then, well, at first it came with I purchased the Rosum subharmonicon.
Yeah.
And I've been experimenting with it. And I thought when Olivier approached me with the idea of doing a set for the Modular World. I said, okay, I'm gonna do something with a guitar and a boucla. Something I never done because I don't play guitar. But I did buy this is my Fender acoustic guitar. If you can see here, there's a weird little contraption in the strings. So it turns the guitar into basically a koto, a Japanese koto like this. And it's open tuning. So I plugged that into the subharmonicon, and the subharmonicon was actually being modulated by the source of uncertainty on the boucla. So I didn't know what would happen when I play the guitar, because it outputs all kinds of notes because it's being modulated by the source of uncertainty, the actual inspiration for the Wogglebug, I think.
Yeah, the Grant Richter source of uncertainty.
Yeah. That's it. And I had the Pulsar 23 was being triggered by the temps utile. It's like ornament and crime, but for rhythm.
Oh.
It's a weird module that does, sequencer, Euclidean circles, and all kinds of weird. So it's always polyrhythmic. It always evolves into all kinds of rhythm. Never two.
So
the same.
Tell me about how the panharmonium is. That's like a re-synthesizer. That's what it's like billed as. But how does that work with the sounds from the guitar?
It will follow the pitch of the guitar, and it will follow it polyphonically. So if I pluck two strings, it will actually follow and output two notes. But if I don't put any modulation, it will pretty much recreate the sound of the guitar, but as a resynthesizer. But that's boring, It's kind of a lo-fi version of your sound, which could be fun. But it's when you introduce modulation to it, that's where you enter into another dimension.
See, I think that I need another go with that, because I borrowed the panharmonium from my friend Tata here in San Diego, and he was doing things where he was singing into it, and it was just like I had never heard anything like it in my life. I was like, let me borrow that, and it was just like noise. I could get nothing out of it, and I gave it back to him. I was like, I don't know what you're doing with this thing, but I couldn't do it. So you're saying it's like the secret is in the modulation of it.
Yes, and also what you put in it. If you put, I often use just a loop from the Nebulae or something like this, or just a simple piano melody, and then that's where the fun begins. It becomes instant ambient sound. But if you introduce weird modulation, then you can go into more noisy, weird, experimental things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe I need to look at that one again. I mean, you were just making gorgeous stuff with it.
It boggles the mind how it works, because there's a pitch to CV somewhere in that. So if you sing in it, you will have your voice being resynthesized, and it will follow your pitch. It's very. I didn't see any like VST plugin or DSP software doing this kind of thing that the module does.
Yeah.
I wish you would, Mr. Rossum there could, I'm sure, sell it as a software for the masses.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is your main instrument now? Because you have the boucla. I know you have Eurorack. You have other synths.
Well, it depends. My main instruments to improvise, I think, would be the boucla, but sometimes it's the 5U as well. They don't all fit in the same room, so I have another studio downtown Montreal. So
Jesus.
Yes, Sometimes I put them all in the same room, but it becomes so hot in there. It's not livable.
Where do you stream from? Because you're like daily streaming on Twitch.
Yes, I stream from my basement. I put a little green screen in my basement. It's from my home. Sometimes I bring in. Oh yes, well,
Jesus,
is it a studio? I don't know.
I feel so bad for you. You know, you got gear everywhere. It's just terrible, man. That sounds really awful.
Well, the thing is, I used to have children, so I didn't have room for synth. Now the children moved out of the house, so I have many rooms available.
Oh God. I look forward to that. I don't look forward to when my kids are gone, but I do look forward to having space. And being like, I'm going to take over your bedroom. So when you come back at Christmas from college, you're sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
What happened to my room, Dad? Yeah, well, go in, check it out.
Synths. There's synths now.
Olivier, Katrin, am I taking up too much time? Like, would you like to be part of this conversation?
No, not at all. Like, absolutely wonderful music, Rudy. And maybe you want to tell more about your filming. It's like excellent camera work. So,
yeah. Tell us about that wonderful 360 shot.
Oh, this is I think I have it here.
Because once you've captured it in like 360, you can pan around it and move around it almost like you've shot it in a bunch of different angles.
Yeah, this is the camera. I think my friend Ray Malone has one too. He actually told me to buy this camera, which is great because it was always when I do my video for YouTube. I have a YouTube channel where I display the jams I do, and I used to have like 4 or 3 GoPro, and then I would have to edit it and. You know, it's a long post-production process.
Yep.
But with the 360, I can just put it on a tripod and I choose on post-production what is my point of view. Yeah. And it films in 5K, so it gives you, room to zoom in without being too pixelated and stuff like that. So you just, it's just a pre-editing. When you have your raw video, you choose keyframes. Okay, from this keyframe to this keyframe, the camera will move, to a certain way or zoom in on some device. So it's a life changer. It's a game changer for me.
Brilliant.
I don't have to put 50 cameras anymore.
Which camera is that?
The one it's called the 360 1R.
By who?
With it's Insta 360 1R. The brand is Insta 360.
Insta 360. Yeah, so they have that good software plugin too.
Yes. Yeah, it comes with the software. And but you have to buy the one with the 360 lens. I've learned that the hard way. I've bought the one that just a GoPro. It's a wide angle, but this one has 2 lenses, one in the back, one in the front.
So I had a system like that by Kodak like 4 years ago, and I could do similar, but it wasn't super good. So I ended up selling it. I was just like, it just wasn't that good.
So often the problem was the stitching program.
That was the thing.
A bit that it was convoluted. Now with the 360, there's no stitching to do. The software does it automatically.
And the footage comes in as one clip, right? Like from that camera?
Yeah.
See, that was some of it, was that my Kodak system, it was 2 cameras like back to back. So I was downloading 2 files off of 2 cards and then using the stitching software. And you could always see the lines, and it was kind of lame. But if it's a single camera, then it's doing a lot of that work in the file.
Oh, they've nailed it with this machine.
I need to get that one.
I'm not, I'm not a pro at video editing and stuff, so this was no brainer, not too hard to learn. No learning curve, pretty much.
Well, it looks great. I mean, the colors, it just looks awesome. Like the file you sent was like, it was great. Yeah. All right, enough. Thank you so much, man. Thanks so much for coming on and doing this.
Well, thank you. Thanks to Olivier and Kate. Also, they insisted that I was part of this, and I'm very grateful to them.
It's awesome. I mean, seriously, they did all the curation. I mean, they were just like, here's who's on your show, Jono. And I was like, okay. It's wonderful.
Well, thanks.
All right. Off you go, man. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for having me. Great show. Great job, Sid.
All right. Here we go. All right. Man, that was so good, wasn't it? Oh, my God. You found some winners. Seriously. Thank you, sir. Would you like to introduce AGUMA?
I will let Katrin do that.
Okay. Here we go. She's muted.
Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's
it's
all right.
always something has to go wrong.
Well, yeah.
All right, so it's my great pleasure to introduce AGUMA. It's a duo composed of Guillaume Sauvé and Gabriel Rivard. So they are composing some music and performing it. They are friends from childhood, and they have been playing together in different musical projects, ranging from funk to psychedelic rock. Really varied group. And the last few years, Guillaume and Gabriel have played in Expansis, which is an audio-visual band. And very importantly, they have played in 20th edition of Muted Festival in Montreal, like a great festival here and really big achievement by this band. They will also release a debut vinyl album titled Spatium, which is coming out under the label chez KitKat Records. And in the piece you're about to hear, AGUMA develops its sound around modular synthesizers, where they created a constructed set of polyrhythm in a misty, dreamlike environment. It's a really interesting piece, so I hope you will enjoy it.
All right. Thank you. My friends, this is AGUMA. That's just amazing. God. So we are not joined by AGUMA after that performance, but we are joined by Tangled Waves, our dear friend Olivier Marteaux and Katrin Tinn, who helped me curate this show. Thank you so much for bringing this kind of talent, man. It's just awesome.
And we have met AGUMA, so we also met Guillaume and Gabriel, first during a live gig, actually, always around this Modular Synth Quebec meetups. And so, all the artists here, we have heard them perform live, so we know what they can do. So, and second, we also dealt with them because they sell modules. They are the owners of TechnoSynth, this shop I was, by correspondence, this shop I was talking earlier. And I think it's quite important what Katrin said, that they have performed in MUTEC, which is a quite renowned electronic music and audiovisual festival here in Montreal. Very hard to enter, so I think it's quite an achievement.
So how do you think they were chosen for that? I mean, other than being awesome, but I mean, how do you get into an event like that?
If I knew, I would not tell.
Well, I mean, I would assume it's, who you know, but also like it's sending a demo to the right person or them finding you and saying, hey, we'd like you to play.
Well, they're quite transparent, MUTEC. They don't communicate well after, but they have a very transparent process where you constitute your dossier, artist, very, very thorough. And it has to be audiovisual, of course. I think that's what is important. You have to have a very solid visual part also.
Well, I can't think of a better segue to our next artist than talking about the audiovisual situation that you all are about to experience. I can barely even introduce this correctly, really. All right, Olivier, I'm gonna pull you out. All right. Our next artist is also named Olivier. Olivier Landry-Gagnon is a producer, synthesist, and interdisciplinary artist mainly involved in sound design for theater, circus, dance, music to image, and installation. As a fan of synthesis, he approaches electronic music in an organic way, letting the machine live and being inspired by its proposals. He graduated from music technique in 2015. He has since made several albums with his projects Gloam, Space Clouds, Filter, and Flown, in addition to having collaborated on several other projects. So I wasn't going to read this, but I think I'm just going to give you a little snapshot of what you're going to see. So here's a few words on this performance. Again, I have never seen anything like this. And I don't mean just on this show. I mean in my life. I've never seen anything like this. It's an electric encounter between a still life world and the voltage of modular synthesizers. Symbiosis of mediums linking the movement of voltage to lights, motors, and music. The voltage of the synthesizers is used to modulate the intensity of the lights, to rotate the turntable, and to activate small servo motors, triggering key events during the performance. The rhythm of all these elements fused together creates an audible and visual polyrhythmic pattern which evokes the harmonic chaos of nature. A great deal of precision has to be worked out to find the perfect relationship between this electricity and the movement of the objects. Reaching the sweet spots gives life to these objects, although nothing is stable and everything moves all the time. It's human, which is what he intended, to make the machine and its environment alive. I'm just so happy to show you this performance by Olivier Landry-Gagnon.
comme une place où la naturel est fort. Voltage sous le charme de cette naturelle évoque. C'est comme une place où la naturelle évoque. Voltage sous le charme de cette naturelle effort. De nature électrique, je fabrique cet dédommagé. 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 Cet dédommagé. Fabrique ce dédommagé. Réseauté non établi. Réseauté
Well, here I am with Olivier Landry-Gagnon. Sorry. All these French names, you know, I got to tell you, it's a bit of a challenge. I'm trying to do my best. I think I'm doing like okay. Okay,
yeah, you're really good, man.
Like okay to poor. So, first off, I just got to say thank you so much for sharing this with the show. This is yeah, I've told you on email and in chat that I've just never seen anything like this. Like,
yeah, it's a lot of work for everything of those.
Yeah, you should be very, very proud. This is absolutely magnifique.
J'apprécie, merci.
Look at me trying on French, just like improving, you know. Magnifique, come on. I just said that.
You got it.
Unbelievable. So I don't really even know how to ask. Like, how does this, like, can you walk us through some of this process?
Yeah, that's the big one, but mainly the first lines are synthesizer and physical object was my main thing that I was researching. My first module that came across the physical and the audible thing is the Basel servo module that they were doing like a couple of years ago and didn't work out for them. I think it was too much precise, but I found those things a little bit weird, and I want to work with that and try it out. So that was my main first step into that world. So this is my main instrument in that video, and then I worked with the like the little box from Coma, which is I don't have the name right now, but it's like a kind of a theremin that you can use with the optical, and then using the movement to create other movements in sounds or lights in that case.
Right.
So I have one of my friends helped me with those machines to put some Vactrols and then be able to control, let's say, anything with modular. So we put Vactrols on the old mixer lights, so I can control the lights with the modular, and then the servo can control the motors with the modular.
Just the whole aesthetic of just the whole way that everything looked, the objects which you chose, the old turntable, the foil teeth man, just like all the parts are just so stunning, and just the way you shot it, and the vocals and the colors.
I helped for that for the one of my friends helped me, Thomas Bourgeois helped me for filming that, because I was not able to find how I can capture that thing just by myself. So I need someone like that does more cinematographic stuff. And then he said, yeah, let's go. And we did it like in one night. And then, yeah, it helped capture the real aesthetic of the thing, just not with my iPhone.
Yeah, no, it's just beautifully shot and edited. And yeah, I mean, Analog Monoxide is saying that was art, man. And I would agree that this is high art stuff, you know, this is high end stuff. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you for receiving this kind of weird stuff in your show.
Well, look, I mean, this, I don't know how to say it. This community, and there's going to be people who are already rolling their eyes because they hear me talk about this all the time, but we really like it all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm personally connected to more experimental stuff. That's more up my alley. But just like all the viewers here, this is our community that's really interested in all the genres, because we all use a lot of the same tools, and it's fascinating to see each other work.
Modular is so open. It's like it's the instrument I was like, wow, you can do whatever you want, and 1 minute can be changed in any minute. You know, it's like so free that you don't have any other case exactly the same as yours. So
it's so true.
It gives you experimental stuff, and how people works with it gives you a lot of stuff.
You know, that said, maybe a really interesting show, although it'd be difficult because it would be hard to get us with all the same modules, but it would be cool to have, like, maybe we could pull this off with like 3 artists where we all had the same case.
Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah.
You know, like we're all using the same exact modules, and this would definitely prove your point that we would all sound totally different.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah, maybe I should do that. Maybe we should do like I mean, this would be hard to coordinate, but there could be some kind of maybe a poll or something, like what are modules that, you know, everybody has that we could all use, and not maths. You know, I don't want to hear about maths. But, you know, something that is, you know, common enough that we could all use those things. Yeah.
Maybe with a template on modular grid could work. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
But would be a really nice thing. I'm in. Yeah,
wouldn't that be fun? Although I don't want people to run out and buy modules for it. But I'm just saying, like, there is enough overlap that we could do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really good idea. And I'm going to credit you. Everybody heard it here for the first time. Okay, Surging Mass says, no, we all go to Jono's house. Okay, so maybe this is another way is to, yeah, maybe I'll volunteer Travarsi. Maybe we all go to Travarsi's house and we use Travarsi's system. She's like, what did you just say? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. So, man, I just want you to get all kinds of work and like music videos and like stuff from this. Like, is this what you want to do?
Yeah, part of I would like to do it as a performance because it's so alive. Like I said, like the turntable beat kind of drum machine, it's something that always fail. So you always have to make the beat again. So you have to pull out the little object and change it, and it gives you another beat. So I like this aspect of into a performance, you know. So I'd like to give it to some people at some point to see that and feel it. But yeah, I'd like to do more videos like this for sure.
Wow. Any plans of recording or getting something out soon?
Yeah, I'm having an album out, like an EP, but it's I don't know how to say it. It's like experimental music, but with pop music. So it's kind of weird, and it's in French. So hard to tell what it is, but it's inspired by trip hop music and experimental and textural music. Yeah.
Please make sure that I know when that comes out.
I'll let you know for sure.
Okay. And we can play it on the show and talk about it.
Cool, for sure, man.
Katrin, Olivier, anything?
Oh, well, I could perhaps recall that, well, I first met Olivier in Moog Audio, but that's another story. But when I saw a video of his, he posted on YouTube called Cass Noel, it was immediate love at first sight, you know, and I knew, I told him I want the same thing, you know, and I was curious to see what he would do, and he raised the bar even higher. So, wow.
Bravo.
Yeah, it should go straight to TV. It's really nice sound, very trip hopish. You should launch it in United Kingdom as well, like definitely.
Seriously.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Well, off you go, and let's stay in touch, sir. It's just great to meet you. Yeah.
Really nice.
All right, my
thank you,
friends.
Jono.
This is
and thank
Olivier.
you, Olivier and Katrin.
This is Olivier Landry-Gagnon, right here. Well done, sir. All right. Give me a moment to juggle some windows here. You got this, Jono. You got it. All right. Olivier, I've got you back now. Sorry, I was juggling windows. Now I'm good. Moving on with an absolute audio visual treat. We're just like gonna keep ramping up here. Would you like to introduce our next act here?
Yes, Katrin and I will do it at the same time, right?
Okay, all right.
So our next artists, Philippe-Aubert Gauthier and Tanya Saint-Pierre, love to make art together. They perform live, Modular Synthesis, in venues such as the SATs that you might have captured in Katrin's movie. They also have sound art exhibitions all over the town, you know, in galleries and museums. Their abundant work has been presented in Quebec, Canada in general, the US, Mexico, France, UK, and Germany. Philippe is a bit, I would say, our local Leonardo da Vinci. He's a sound artist, but also an engineer with a Master of Science and a doctorate in mechanical engineering and acoustics. He's professor at the Université du Québec in Montreal, teaching sound, 3D and CGI at the Visual and Media Arts School there. He's co-director of the Artist Research at the Center for Interdisciplinary Research in Music, Media, and Technology. And he's also the chairman of the board of Sporable, a local artist-run center, not local, in Sherbrooke. Kat?
Yeah, so my pleasure to introduce Tanya St. Pierre, who is a visual, sound, and digital artist. Very exciting for me. By exploring the possible relationship between visual or digital arts and narrative, she transforms various systems of narration into poetic and conceptual proposals. And you'll see what is meant here. Proposals within a general scheme of questions and notation of representation and cultural artifacts. You will love the visuals, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And now about the piece you're about to experience. And I say experience, right? I won't say much. Only spoiler, it has a lot of sci-fi references. I won't say anything else because I believe it's for you guys to experience with your own senses. Get ready.
Here we go. Oh, my friend, this is Philippe-Aubert Gauthier and Tanya Saint-Pierre, who is with us but not with us. So I remember when you sent this, and I've played around in Blender. I've done some 3D work, but it was so realistic that it didn't occur to me for a few minutes that it was 3D. And I was like, this is just amazing. They shot it in this place. Somebody made a comment about the potted plants. And I was like, oh, you just wait. You just wait until they pan the camera back and show that it's a 3D space. So great.
Thanks. Yeah, I think I have to close that because I feel off sync. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that, actually, working on that this summer. It actually took like 1 month. It was supposed to be just a short trial, but in the end,
I remember,
it was a big project.
like hearing about it, like through Olivier, he was like, they're working on something special. I'm like, okay.
That's interesting, yes, because, and thanks Olivier and Katrin, by the way, and also Jono for the show. But actually, we started just, okay, let's do a performance. My idea was really just focusing on the patch first. And then we say, oh, it's post-pandemic. So let's play with the video idea of streaming. So it's why we then decided to include kind of a CGI theater setup, we can say. And then we say, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. And then like maybe 100 hours later, we said, woof, that was a good idea, but a consuming one. But it was great to play around with all the CGI thing. And it was a new move also for us in terms of CGI style. So new direction.
I just have to ask, what kind of render time are we talking about here?
Oh, it's not that much because everything, as you mentioned, is made with Blender. And recently there's a new render engine, which is called Eevee, which is kind of targeting at the real-time rendering application. So it was not that much. I think it took like maybe 5 days, like nonstop on a big rendering computer. But then afterwards we had some glitch and then do some re-rendering, and then the final editing was a little bit long. But it's actually a montage, but not in terms of performance, because all the sound was actually real-time live, like repeated like 3 or 4 times until the take was satisfying. But it was just really just the integration, which was the view. I think it was super exciting because first time we've been doing that, and I think we'll explore that in the future. So thanks for that opportunity. Actually, bring us somewhere else.
Well, I hope that everybody caught that little detail. He said, it didn't take that much time. It was really 5 days of render.
But that's nothing. Normally for our other video project, it can take like 6 months. So it's
6 months of render?
Oh yeah, but it's for like 1 hour, like HD rendering.
You've got a machine working 24 hours a day for 6 months rendering.
But sometimes we stop because we have to do a new shot, and then, but it's roughly 6 months for one of the show we will present in Montreal, by the way, in this spring. It's I think it's 40 minutes, but it took like 6 months of nightmares of rendering, and then you wake up in the morning and the render is not satisfying, so you start it again. It's not very good for the mind, actually.
Well, I've done stuff in Blender where it took overnight and I was just like, man, 3D sucks. Like, I like wake up and I look at it and something hadn't rotated right or the light was wrong. And I was like, was that really worth it overnight? And you're telling me that this 14-minute piece rendered for 5 days. That is, wow, that's humbling, man. That is incredibly humbling.
Yeah, but it was so fun. It's not, it's a pain, but afterward it's funny, and then you don't mind. But
well,
it's
I mean,
cool.
Yeah, I mean, you've made something extremely unique and beautiful. That's just...
Thank you.
Yeah, really, really amazing.
And it's the first time we combine modular with CGI, so it was everything new here.
Wow. So talk to us a little bit about the sound design part, because you had just such richness going on.
I'm very much into jump cut, like originally very much influenced like in the 90s by Naked City and John Zorn and groups that would change rapidly in terms of style. So in the first part, it's like many tiny parts, but afterwards it's a little bit like rapid switching between the original parts of the beginning. So I use a lot of voltage preset using IntelliGel tetrapad. And afterwards I'm sequencing these things, so it's rapidly changing between the parts. And I think the one with the discotheque from L with the RGB light and the laser, which was very funny for me, it was one of my most satisfying, because it's mostly Rainmaker IntelliGel in a full random mode with lot of impulsive percussion. So it's always different on each impact. And then it's a little bit mix of all that. And I think I only removed like 15 seconds because at some point I had some silence. So it's really raw take, direct.
Gorgeous. Somebody asked, it's on Chrono asks, what sampler are you using?
Oh, good. It's the new Expert Sleeper Alpha for the piano part. And also the other one is the Erica Synth, the drum sample, the trigger drum sampler for the little screechy noise. It's mostly samples from Trogotronic 669 as micro samples, and lots of elements actually by Mutable Instrument, like the part with the tiny mocap. We see it's mostly element physical modeling. But like triggered like so fast that it do these little and drilling sound. But it's these are the two sampler, and IntelliGel Rainmaker is like all over the place, always changing of in terms of configuration.
What is that? I mean, what is using that thing like? Because I look at it and it's huge. So I have problems with huge modules because I'm just like trying to squeeze every HP out of my, the last little slivers of HP I've got. But is that thing like really complicated to get into?
I think that yes, but personally, it's one of my favorite now because it's so versatile. We cannot call it actually a standard delay because it's actually a 16 tap delay, and you can adjust the pitch, filter, and size of each of your taps, including feedback. So it's perfect for electroacoustics, but it's a lot of clicking if you configure it. So most of the time what I do is that you can have the trigger random for all parameters. For me, it's perfect because I'm lazy. So I would just randomly, generate presets until I'm satisfied and then save these things. Otherwise, it's just too, it's not, I should be careful. It's not that bad, but it can be long to configure everything. But it's really, I think I only use it like at 20 or 20% of what it can do, because you can have rhythm patterns for the delay pattern. So you can have like accelerando and things like that. So it can be very rich, but it's really it takes time, I think, to master. But at the same time, it's very gratifying very quickly, at least from my perspective. Especially for percussive, impact, electroacoustics kind of things.
Yeah. And then you mentioned the Disting EX, which I'm just a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Huge.
It's brand new for me. I actually got it like 1 week before the performance. So it's very basic mode, and it's mostly controlled by a Turing machine with a lot of feedback into resistance ladder by Electron, which make like very, very nice, affordable module. One is the R2R, which is just a stack of resistance. So you can patch in many signals and patch out many signals, and they get all mixed just by buffering by resistance, which is like, for me, like really nice.
Which algorithm are you using in the Disting EX?
It's just a sampler, stereophonic sampler.
The multi-sample?
Yes, I think, yeah. But it was August, so I think it was that. And I don't actually yet master it fully. I didn't have time to really push that much further, that little thing, because it's so new in the setup.
Yeah, I just got my Disting EX just a couple months ago, and using the multi-sample algorithm was just like game changer, because I could finally have polyphony in Eurorack, and then I ended up buying a second one.
Oh, that's great.
Because if I'm using one for a synth, I obviously would want another one for a bunch of drums. Sure.
Makes sense. Yeah.
God, we're such suckers.
I think I have to push it a little bit further. But really, the one is the big brain in that performance was really the Tetrapad with Tête by Intelligel.
Yeah.
Such a big fan, especially with the voltage preset system. It's great. Fantastic device. And lots of VCAs. Like, I think I don't have mixer. All the part change was based on, I think I've got maybe, I don't know, 16 VCAs in the multi VCA modules.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Wow, what a system. That's great.
Yeah, it's just right there.
What about the all the CG stuff? Can you talk us through some of that since your partner isn't with us?
Yeah, actually, yes. She made the design of the 3D set based mostly on how she works with collage in 2D or 3D. And then afterward, we created mini cameras in the set. So it's always different, just traveling and variation in the same set. But it's most of the materials are actually mappings of her work in collage, for example, in 2D based on high resolution scan. On, for example, there's a little bed with rocks, and the kind of sheets is actually a collage of her, which was that was scanned and put on the bed.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, in very few words, and lots of volumetrics also for the smoke and mist kind of effect. But because we wanted to make it on time, we actually a little bit, when I said it was 4 days of render, to have a like super high, like extreme quality could be like maybe 2 weeks or something like that. But the actual full, I sent you the full raw version. Yeah. I don't know if you remember, it was like 16 gigabytes of uncompressed HD video. That's part of the
even
fun
the
also.
one you called medium res was 1920 by 1080 and looks awesome, and we just played it and it looks awesome.
We like that. I think it's one of the reasons why the rendering is sometimes very long, because not the rendering but all the preparation before the rendering, like we work really hard on the color balance, contrast, light, and materials until we're satisfied, and then we push the throttle for the final render. And then just some of the fun part is like with this new rendering engine EV, which is great, sometimes you have glitches. And I think for that video, I don't know, I think we have like maybe 20,000 or 30,000 frames. I don't remember, for 15 minutes. But I actually had to go through all frames one by one to inspect for any pixel that were broken and then re-render. That took, I think, like 7 more days afterward just to repair these pixelated glitch. But I like this kind of work because it's very... it's a little bit of a pain, but at the same time, it's very relaxing, I could say, because it's just, if you have time and if you're not that on a rush, it's kind of relaxing somehow.
I hope that everybody listening just appreciates the intense dedication and work that making this set took. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much for having us. We're huge. Like super happy. It was very great for us because sometimes you do work and it's like, in a given context, you have to respect many parameters. For that one, we felt so free actually to explore something new. And I think we'll propose that for festivals or other places also. Good for you. In the future. But you had the first edition.
There's somebody asking, and I always want to make sure I get the questions asked. Joel Couch asks, without the smoke, the laser traces don't show up much, right?
That's true, yes. But you could make it show up if you have a uniform like mist, but in our case it was more like noise-based. The texture was noisy so that you have like different density of smoke, but that's true. That's a very good question. I feel like in my teaching class for 3D now. That's interesting. Thank you for the question.
Well, these are the things that make render super expensive, right? Is the steam, the light, the glowing,
all the volumetric. But we use lots of post-processing as compositor. So it's 2D post-processing for color balance and final tuning and lens effect, like out of focus effect. Also, it's based on post-processing.
Super expensive render, yeah.
I'm looking at the comment at the same time. So thank you, everybody, also.
We have like a couple conversations. One's about the disting EX and the other one is about render stuff.
Yeah, we made a success combining modular and 3D synthesis.
Bravo.
Maybe the next time would be to create 3D models of your own module, so you can have a very like super high resolution close up of your module. And by the way, I like the idea you had before about many people's creation over a single shared system, something like that. Very interesting. By the way,
I was thinking of one way to do that, but it would involve corporate sponsorship, and people who watch this show know that this show is fiercely independent and I'm not going to do this. But one way would be to have manufacturers donate a system that we could share around the world and send around.
Yeah,
and that way we
like,
could all use that system, which would be very cool. But I can't do that kind of sponsorship. I'm not going to do it.
No, that's true. But maybe we can first do some trials and experiment with VCV rack, because that's one way of actually
that's a
sharing.
Good idea. Everybody uses the same patch.
At least the rack.
The same file, right.
Yeah, the same file without the cables, just the rack system.
Yeah,
just to test the idea. But it's a really nice thought that you had with Olivier on this matter, because for me, I remember also when we are sometimes doing the workshop at Oboro here in Montreal, having other people play with my own rack, even patching, I'm always impressed. I remember some years ago, Carl Foussec actually made a patch on my system. I never heard my own system like that. I was just
for sure
amazed how much you have your own reflex. We have our own patterns, our own way of patching, and it's impressive how different people can do different things with the same rack. Always impressing.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to let you go. You and I could talk forever. We had such a nice talk a couple weeks ago.
Yes, thank you so much.
Hold on, I think that Olivier wants to hop in.
Yes, I want to add a word. I need to add a word because Philippe-Aubert Gauthier actually is a real benefactor for modular synthesis in Montreal. He launched Modular Mondays, these open mic sessions that everybody can come up to, weekly and play modular synthesis. And also these workshops, he created these workshops teaching modular for everybody. So big name here.
Thank you, Olivier. Just a little bit of clarification. I did not actually introduce the Modular Monday. So I just want to make sure I don't take credit.
Oh, who was it?
I think Ismail maybe was one of the founder. I'm not sure, so I will be careful on that. But for the workshop, it's true. We have been working on that like for many years. It's actually where we met with Olivier also. Sorry for the clarification. I prefer to make it clear.
No, but Ismail told me it was you, so it's...
No, it's normal, no problem. Okay. Or maybe it's me. I don't remember then.
You guys have so many cool scenes going on up there. You graciously accepted me onto your Facebook group, your private Facebook group, so I get to kind of watch all your stuff goings on there. It's just great scene. That's why we're doing this show. What a pleasure to know you, sir. I'll look forward to meeting you in real life at some point. Well, this is real life, but you know what I mean, in person.
That would be a pleasure.
All right. Off you go. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you again. Bye. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Oh, man. That's just amazing stuff, right? Okay. Just a quick word on the fierce independence of this show. Pardon my clicking here. This is a fiercely independent show, and it takes a lot to put on these shows. If you're considering supporting Modular World, thank you. You can do so by going to Patreon/Modular World. All these links are below. Or you can click the join button and join on YouTube, become a YouTube channel member. It's the same thing. You can support this show for as little as $2 a month. If you'd like to support at $5 a month, you get audio downloads of the whole show. audio downloads of the whole show and previous shows. Amazing. Okay. Thank you. Let me bring back Olivier, and you are going to... oh, no, I'm setting up Ray Malone, aren't I? I am. I will do that now. Sorry. But I'm going to keep you on screen with me just because you're such a handsome guy. Okay. Closing out this show is our friend, Mr. Ray Malone, who performs as Unsupervised. It's the one who runs the Facebook page that I was talking about. That's correct, right? Right. Ray has no music training. He learned everything by sight and ear and feel. And this video is all about the places and things that bring him joy. Like making music in his studio called The Gas Station. Get it? Walking with his dog in a lake with no one around, thinking about nature, the wonder and beauty of it all. The sound of feet splashing in the water and the feel of sand on feet. Riding his electric unicycle. You will see all these things in this video. This is wonderful. Ray believes that this earth has an intentional design behind it, and this performance is all about that. There are no samples, and everything was recorded in one shot on multiple cameras. Please enjoy. Please enjoy Happy Places by Ray Malone performing as Unsupervised. Here we go. Mr. Ray Malone. I mean, can I call you that, or should I just call you Unsupervised?
You can call me Ray. That's good.
Ah, nice. Man, thanks so much for closing our show like this. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
What a jam. Oh my God.
Thank you.
So you used the 360 cameras too. Are you using the same ones as Rudy used?
Yes, it's the least expensive one I could find, and it does the job well.
Camera. I mean, they look great.
Mm-hmm. The AI is amazing on them. Yes.
It's great. I love the colors of that shot where you're on the street with all the red flowers, all the super orangey red flowers.
They're the autumn leaves. When the trees turn red, the leaves fall. They're orange like that. It's gorgeous. Just the park across the street from my place.
Yeah, I grew up in Michigan, and the fall colors are just like, they're like,
it's beautiful.
Yeah, they're famous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, what a special set. So tell us a little bit about building that out and what you made for us.
Well, at first, when Olivier talked to me about that, I wasn't sure I was ready for doing a whole set like that, filmed in one shot. The way I wanted to make it, well, it was filmed in one shot, but this is maybe shot number 25.
Oh,
whereas I played it over and over until I got it the way I liked. And still to this day, I must not look at it because I still have things I would change on it. But I guess that's what everybody that does stuff like that kind of turns around and say, oh, I should have put that louder. I should. Yeah,
sure.
I think that's normal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But wow, I just want to take a minute to talk about Olivier and everybody else. They blew me away. I had not seen what they done. And as it was going on, I was surprised. I'm going after all these guys. Oh my God, they're so good. They were so good. And I hope Mutech sees the talent in Montreal and seizes us and asks us to play. We're dying to play live. All of us, we love to play live. Yeah.
Well, you guys have some special stuff going on here. I mean, really special. And no, I mean, this was carefully curated. You were put at the end to make us like go out on a high note, banging, and happy and smiling. So this is all planned. It's all, everybody's importantly placed in the show. You're the great closer. This was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. I just want to say these other people and even Tangled Waves that we didn't hear, and Alexa that we heard earlier on Modular World. I mean, they're all excellent. I'm all huge fans of these people.
Yeah.
And the way they work is, like you said, when they touch, we actually meet and see each other, and when they touch my gear, they make it sound so good. And never the same from person to person.
Yeah.
And I love this. I love this whole thing. Yeah.
Well, this all started with Tangled Waves. I mean, meeting Katrin and Olivier last year, took a lot. I mean, it was a while ago. And then, having Alexa Momtaz on the show like 3 episodes ago, like Montreal's been creeping in,
We all talk, we're all friends, and we all talk on a weekly basis and see each other. And it's a tight-knit community that really is safe and inclusive. Like you said, we have a private in name Facebook channel, but it's open to anybody that wants a safe environment to enjoy modular and synths, and just reach out to us and we'll get you in, no problem.
Yeah, I've really
it's
enjoyed
not private in any way.
Yeah, no,
we want everybody in there.
Yeah. I've really enjoyed kind of having the bird's eye view of kind of watching all the things which you guys are doing. It's a great scene.
It's a lot of fun. Yes.
What's next for you creatively?
I want to play this live. So January 14th, we got something lined up in a bar in Montreal, a small venue, and I'm just going to hit it with all. I've seen Arnaud Rebottini from France. He's my idol. He's amazing. He plays with synths, vintage synths on stage, and he makes everybody dance. And my dream one day is to make people dance using my synths. I just don't want to bring one box. I want to bring half the wall. So I want to try that and, make the usual mistakes and learn from them, get better.
Yeah.
Get better until one day Mutech calls us and we'll play. as a Modular Synth Quebec.
Yeah, right. No, playing live is everything. I mean,
Yes.
it's like do it once and then it's just like it's very addictive. Yeah.
Yes. It's a lot of fun, and it's not the moment that you play live, it's all the preparation in front of that comes to fruition, and then you're just having fun on that night.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I want to experience. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
If I can lift up my eyes and see people dancing, I'm there. I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for what you do just for the Montreal scene, and just, you know, it's big. Yeah.
It's all them. I'm just happy to be there and be included in everything. Yes. They're great. They're just amazing. It's all the people that make Montreal so cool that on any given night you can go out and see live music, and people they're really open to every kind of music, either pop or more experimental. You'll have an audience and they'll be there for you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love Montreal for that. So please come visit Montreal, everybody, and we'll be super happy to show you around and take you out.
All right. We'll talk soon, Ray. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having us. Thanks, Olivier, for doing all this work. Thank you so much. Have a nice evening, everybody.
Bye-bye. Good to see you, Ray.
Off he goes. Well, my friends, I just thank you to you both so much for helping me do this. I mean, you really did it, you know. I just think of the time and the effort that it took for all these artists to make all these performances, and the time and the effort that you guys took to find them, all the emails we've had, coordinating these people's shows. Thank you. Thanks so much.
Whether they're all there around us, you know, we just have to tap into that source. And
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
I hope we have managed with this spotlight to show that what we have seen with our own eyes and ears is that between modular synthesis and Montreal, it's an art, science, and love story, you know, all the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah, very, very impressive. There's just no other word for it. I'm glad these are archived forever on you know, YouTube, and everybody who's watching, I can I'll put the time codes up tonight so that you can go back and see, you know, certain performances again without having to drag through the whole show. All right, off you go. I'm gonna close. Just thank you to both of you, Tangled Waves, for helping
Salut tout le
us.
monde. Bye bye.
Love you guys. All right. Yeah, just again, thank you to Katrin and Olivier for helping me do this show. This is a big one. Okay, so next is November, the last spotlight show of the year, and then I'll go back to regular format, Modular World, where we have performances from all over the world. The next spotlight show is November, and it's the North Coast Modular crew from my home state in Michigan. North Coast Modular, if you know some of these people, there's something afoot at North Coast Modular. That will be next month in November. Then December, January, we're back to regular format. February, spotlight on Japan. Oh my God. We will have patch challenge shows in the middle all the way. So there's a lot going on. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for watching this show. I'm John O'Wells, and this is Modular World. All right. We'll see you next time.